Hello everyone. Today is 24th of July and we celebrate this day as Cousins Day. So we thought of inviting a very special guest today who herself is an author and she has written a beautiful book called Summer Holidays portraying the bond between two cousins. I am Nazneen Kachwala, founder of Winged Fables, and I welcome you all to Hashtalks by Winged Fables. Today we have with us Koral Das Gupta. She is the founder of TellMeYourStory.biz. She is an author, an entrepreneur, and a very fine painter. She has written 4 books so far, and recently she has been signed by Pan Macmillan for a series of 5 books based on mythology. Koral, I heartily welcome you to Hashtalks.
Nazneen, I'm so amazed that you just gave out that introduction without me sending anything to you. I mean, you are so much in touch with the people you talk to. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction.
Thank you, Koral. So, Koral, I'll start by asking you that it is often said that most of the time a writer expresses his or her experiences through the characters of his story. So, my question to you is that how did this idea of writing down a story, describing the bond between the two cousins occur to you? So, what exactly is the inspiration behind Summer Holidays?
So, Nazneen, I grew up in a very nuclear family, me and my parents. But I was very close to my extended family of Masis and Mamas. And we often, I had both my parents working, so I was often, dropped here and there that you just. So when it means that I was dropped or from school, my mommy or my masi will go and collect me from school and bring them. It used to be a party, those days parties and these days parties are very different. I'm sure you understand that. But there were a lot of people because mama's house meant, of course, grandparents and then mamas and mummies. And it was a complete circus every time. And there were lots of cousins. So I grew up in that kind of a extended family setup where we used to have a lot of fun. There was a lot of fun in hiding things from elders. There were a lot of fun in, some elders were, the system in our house and in many houses of that time was that you had strict parents. All the parents were strict, but then your aunties and uncles used to be your, soulmates, partners in crimes, or whatever you call them. So you could actually go ahead and tell them about little things that you have done, either confess or just allow them to know, because you are yourself not sure about what you have done and you want some kind of advice, but your parents are definitely not the people you want to go to. So, and then you had your cousins. I had a host of them, and we would gang up against our parents in doing whatever we wanted to do. So, Summer Holidays, when I wrote it, not everything is actually true, but a feeling of being with cousins, the fun of being together, the notorious things that you do together or against each other. Those are very heartfelt. Those very much come from personal experiences, but the things narrated there are not necessarily the same.
Right. And so I would go ahead and asking you that apart from the, I have read your book, okay. So apart from the two major characters of the book, that is Meera and Rishi, there are also some very, interesting characters which you have portrayed, like that of Vians or that of, Saundarya Mas, Shiraz, Shabnam, or Major Dhillon for that matter. Have you met any such character in person? Or like these are completely drawn out of your imagination? Apart from this, I also want to know that what was the process of weaving a story around these distinctly different people?
Your first question, that these people are so much around us. You see that that real snob who is very conscious that he is handsome and he is stylish and he carries himself in that way. So Vian Iyer is that, and at the same time he's dropped it gorgeous, and at the same time he's extremely talented. Yeah. So these kind of combinations are very conscious about themselves, and you get to see that this guy is very conscious that who he is and what he has achieved and what he's capable of doing, and he knows that what he does to girls. So, you know, we see these kind of characters so much around. Saundarya Ma is, I think, every mommy, every masi in my household is a Saundarya Ma. Hyperactive, totally dramatic. एक छोटी सी चीज कहीं पे कुछ होगा एंड वो मतलब इतना फैल जाएगा, मतलब we all are like that. As a mother today, I know that I am like that, and sometimes with my child I dramatize even more because I really make fun of those moments. But those are very, very precious moments. I mean, if you look at feminism of our yesteryear,
Mm-hmm.
it was very much embedded about people knew what women are, how women are being treated differently. A lot of people accepted it. A lot of people, but the acceptance was also very different. There were some people who were fighting. There were some people who were writing. There were some people who tried to revolt, and then there were some people who tried to, in hushed tones, tell you that, that Saundaryama's dialogue that women should not be more intelligent than men.
Yes.
And then she hushes up that it's okay if you are, but it shouldn't show. So that is the reality of that generation, that it is okay if you are more intelligent than a man, but it shouldn't show. So yeah, I mean, even Kunj Bihari was someone, a tea seller.
Yeah.
I think every traditional university, I'm not talking about private universities definitely, but a traditional uh, public or government university would have a Kunj Bihari kahin na kahin pe. I had many of Kunj Biharis in my life, and
Yeah. Same.
he's
Even I
a,
have. Yeah.
yeah, he's a mashup of all of those. Uh, Shabnam is more of a character today, the way you find them. People who are from small towns, they are careful about how direct they are in their communication. They're careful, not necessarily conscious, but careful, because they have to make themselves. And the same has repeated in Meera in some way or the other. But Shabnam is more of a envelope pusher, and Meera is more of the docile girl who is ready to accept things. So yeah, these are the characters who you find in your everyday life, and I have this habit. I have a very strong streak of humor, so I do watch these people, and in my mind, I keep laughing at them, about them. I talk about them in my social media posts, and at times I dramatize them in a simple way of talking about those. Shiraz is someone that is completely, completely out of my imagination, and that is a character which is very special to me. Because we all in our lives, have this feeling that, there is one person who will come and rescue us. That is not a feminism construct. It can be anybody, a man, woman, irrespective of gender. But, a person whose presence makes you feel happy. Or तुम्हारे जिंदगी में अगर तुम्हें अपना शिराज मिल गया, it can be your brother, father, whoever, you feel very protected. Shiraz is that kind of a character. It is completely imaginary. The process of bringing these together was, I have never ever planned my writing. It is just that मैं जब छोटी थी ना, my mother says that मैं बहुत झूठ बोलती थी. Okay. So she used to say that you can just lie on your breath and nobody would even get a hunch of it. So now I think it is helping me a lot professionally.
Okay. All right. So, Koral, now you have written so many books, and you're, about to write many more in the future. So, if you could please tell me some of the most surprising things that you have learned in creating your books.
The most surprising thing that I have known about myself while writing a book is that inside you, there's a world which doesn't come out unless you get into writing, and writing long formats. Because you have read my book, so you know that I have a philosophical streak which goes very strong. And if you interact with me in general, you wouldn't feel that I might have that philosophy inside me, or you wouldn't see that. Probably I don't see myself, or nobody sees me as a very serious person. I don't come across as that. I love to have fun. But then, when you get a chance to look inside you, you feel that there is so much that you are thinking, and you didn't know that. You didn't know that you are thinking in that way. You didn't know that those words are trapped inside you, and those are not trapped because they are the collection of the last 2 months. They are the collection of a lifetime. Your upbringing, the people you met, the pains you have gone through, the happiness that you have celebrated, those all have come together to give you certain things which makes you which builds up your subconscious. So I believe that when you are writing, that subconscious is more active and it comes up more actively. Uh, and that is what I have very strongly learned, that there is a world inside me, and unless I write fiction, not non-fiction, fiction, because non-fiction is more based on facts and figures and research. But when I write fiction, those things come out in very different kinds of stories. And that is where I actually get to see myself. Otherwise, tamasha hi hai sab.
Right. Okay. And also, Coral, I have recently heard a few authors, I have recently heard a few authors say that the science of writing can be learned, but the art of writing takes continuous efforts, or maybe it is God gifted. So, what is your take on this?
I do believe that every person is a storyteller. We are telling stories anyway. I mean, I have been with Tell Me Your Story for such a long time. I have been running it, and I know that sometimes people don't know how to tell a story, maybe, but they have marvelous stories inside them. So it needs some kind of intellectual stimulation for them to come out with that story, and it needs another kind of intellectual stimulation to be able to say that story in a way that it makes sense to a wider audience. Yes, writing is an art, but writing is also a science, and putting these two together is not a child's play. But having said that, even a lot of people who write in Tell Me Your Story or otherwise, I have seen that there is a very rustic element in their writing. Not the traditional way we are used to. Not that there is one thought that you have and you elaborate it in 15 sentences just because you are a pro in the language, just because you have the mastery of language. That happens with poetry, that happens with prose, that happens with many writers, because we are so much, that is where actually editors cut us to size, which a lot of people don't know, that we are so much in love with ourselves and our skill with language that we go on writing thinking that there was a fish playing in the pool. This thing, if written in 15 sentences, it will show how expert I am as a writer. And that is when the editor comes and cuts you to size and says that it is a one-line sentence, madam, please stick to that. So having said that, there are a lot of first-time authors who don't know anything about the art and science of writing, but they have a lovely story. And in their rusticness, in their non-trained capability of writing, rusticness, I mean that. It doesn't mean that I'm insulting their writing capabilities. I'm just saying that in their direct, unabashed way of portraying themselves without any pretense, they at times end up doing that, where they don't try to flaunt their skills. They are very honest. I believe that as a writer, I'm very manipulative. And I say that often, that every writer who is thinking that she is being read by 10 different people, that manipulation sets in, because you are thinking from the audience perspective. But an author who is simply writing because he has a story to say is far more non-manipulative and knows how to put it across exactly how it is and exactly how it has hurt him, So I don't believe that there is a laid out rule for any storyteller in any way. It is totally a personal craft. Yes, the more you say, the more you learn, and the more you improve.
Right. So my last question to you would be, what makes a good story?
Story is, for me, the definition of story is anything which has characters and climax. So with these two ingredients, if I put that into your question, that what is a good story? A good story is a combination of great characters and a fabulous climax, which means that great characters have to be well thought, because what will make them interesting is something very important. It can be an emotional reason where when I read it, I find emotionally drawn to that character, or I feel that I have become that character. You know, so that kind of a connect has to be there. And a powerful climax happens when the flow of the story is very powerful. So one after the other things are happening. It is only when that happens that you get to rewind, or not rewind. The word is probably when you kind of bind it back together, right, to end the story, and the climax is happening. When your story is moving in a very powerful way, the climax is bound to be powerful. So
Okay, thank you, Koral, for being with us, and
totally my pleasure.
I wish you all the very best for all your future projects. And thanks again for being with us. Thank you so much. It was fun
Totally my
talking to
pleasure.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, same here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.